All right, let's go to Matt in Marlboro, see what which one of these he wants to pick up on this morning on WCRN. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. How are you today?
Hi, good.
I want to first make sure that everybody has my email address, matt@worcesterteaparty.com, matt@worcesterteaparty.com. I remember my full title is Chief Evangelist for the Worcester Tea Party, okay? That's the way I get the indictment should read,
I was going to say, have you been audited recently by the IRS?
Now, when people are talking about the IRS and they're drawing a line from the IRS to Benghazi, they're making a mistake. The way that they should be drawing the line is a little different. Hank, bear with me if you will. Will you imagine a future time, an unhappy day in your life, when you have to take your wife to the hospital? But luckily, Obamacare has been fully instituted so that you know that you don't have to worry about paying anything.
Yeah.
But the doctor says to you, oh, wait a second, you're Hank Stoltz, aren't you? And you say, yeah, I'm Hank Stoltz. Can you help my wife? Oh, golly, I wish we could, but you're on our list. You had that guy Matt on the radio way too often. Are you a sympathizer with the Tea Party? Are you somebody who perhaps really doesn't support our leader, our dear leader, who's provided all this wonderful health care? So I'm just not sure. Why don't you just wait over here? We'll have to get a clearance for this before we do triage on your loved one. The line should be very straightforward, that the government power is always used to protect the government. The first job of bureaucrats is to keep their job. Like the first job of politicians is to win elections. These people are deathly afraid of the Tea Party movement because we are able to get people to show up and vote, because we are able to get people involved. And because of that, they are against us.
Yeah, well, no, and I hear that, but I mean, I just want to go back to how you originally set this up. I mean, because I've only got 3 more years of the Obama administration. As people are pointing out, the head of the IRS that this was happening under was a Bush appointee, for example. I mean, they're supposed to be an independent agency. Do you think, I mean, that it's just the Democrats who have done this? Do you think it's the Republicans as well? And the reason that I say that is so 3 years from now when Obama is out, maybe it's not my name that shows up on a list, right? Maybe it's Jim McGovern who can't get health care.
This is where the issue comes down to. When we invest the government with so much power, the friends of the government get help, and those who aren't the friends of the government get crushed. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about an internet sales tax. That's what we're talking about when we talk about these rules and regulations on industry. The people who are making donations to politicians get help, and the little guy gets it in the neck.
Yeah, those who are wired. But I mean,
just remember, it was only a small group of rogue knights that killed Thomas Becket. It had very little to do with the king standing up and saying, who will rid me of this troublesome priest? This is the sort of crap that has happened since the first recorded history.
Right, Matt, because I got to grab David. So, I mean, so the IRS, independent agency, they say
quote, unquote.
But they say that mistakes were made. They admit that mistakes were made, but that it wasn't due to anything political or partisan.
Yeah. You know what I want you to do? I want you to get up out of your chair today at 11:30, go down to 256 Park Avenue, and ask our senator, who's going to be down there with Representative McGovern, because that's their campaign office, ask them how they feel about this abuse of the IRS's power. Ask them if they condone it. Ask them if they will stand with the Tea Party or if they need to stand against the Tea Party.
I certainly hope.
Well,
thanks, Matt, and I will, because I certainly hope that they condone it. And I guess that this is my point. I mean, if you have the IRS and you have these guys who have been, this is their job, not for one administration, not just for a Democratic administration, but for a Republican administration as well. I mean, do they change with the wind? So 4 years, you've got a Democrat in, they're gonna go and they're gonna target the Tea Party. Does that mean that if Mitt Romney had been sworn in as president, for example, would that mean that right now I'd be worried about these rogue IRS guys going after anything that had progressive in the title? I mean, what was it that they were really trying to do, and were they doing it at the behest of the Obama administration?